I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Item 2 on the agenda is with regard to the consent agenda. Did anyone notice any irregularities with the minutes? If not, the meetings will stand as posted. Thank you. Item 3A on the agenda is an update for the Fire and EMS Task Force. And for that, we have Chief of Public Safety, Mr. Dave Sager.
Good morning, Mr. Chair, members of the Public Safety Committee. Just a brief update on the Fire EMS Task Force. The Fire and EMS Task Force was stood up earlier this year, and through that task force, a subcommittee was formed and an RFP was issued. That RFP was responded by 8 firms, which was reviewed by the subcommittee through the assistance of Bill Coor, the purchasing manager for Washington County, and shepherded along until we reached a decision on 4 different firms. Those 4 firms were then invited to a personal interview August 14th and 15th, and those 2 days resulted in one firm being a unanimous recommendation to the full EMS task force on August 27th. August 27th, the meeting was commenced, and healthcare strategist was recommended to the full fire and EMS task force, and at that meeting, they were unanimously selected as the consultant to conduct the needs and assessment study. Over the course of the next 2 weeks, with the assistance of the county attorney, Brad Stern, a contract was reviewed, cleaned, and signed on September 6th. Over the next 2 weeks from that point, meetings were scheduled for a kickoff week that will commence next Monday with all town, village, and cities elected officials in the morning throughout next week, and all fire department leadership in the afternoons. That will then kick off the needs and assessment study, and over the course of the next 6 months, and by the end of March of 2025, we will have a report that we'll be able to review and hopefully implement some or all of their recommendations.
Thank you for that update. Are there any questions from the committee? If not, we'll move on to the next agenda item. Item 3B, request for municipal public safety radio grant for Allenton Volunteer Fire Department. Do we have a motion on this item?
I'll make a motion. Second.
Motion from Toma, second from Berg. If you'd give us background information.
Yes, so
please,
the Allenton Volunteer Fire Department radio grant request is a little bit unique, but it's being recommended for passage. And just to give you some backstory on Allenton Fire, since 2003, they have employed a strategy of direct responders. And this radio grant request is to provide the 6 direct responders with these radios so that they are able to respond from their home to the emergency directly. This absolutely reduces response times from them getting a page, having to respond to the station, getting on their equipment, and then responding to the emergency themselves. So this is the point of its uniqueness, and I think it's something that's very important for Allenton Fire to have, and it may be precedent setting, but it's something that is very critical for Allenton Fire and for the constituency in which they serve. And it also is an extremely important agenda item for the county executive, the county board of supervisors within the shared services priorities. And this fits right into that dynamic.
Very good. Thank you. Are there any questions from the committee? Then the matter at hand is the motion to approve an amount of $37,809.78 per the committee report. We had a motion. All in favor of the motion, say aye. Aye. Are there any opposed? That motion carries. Next item, Item 3C is a resolution for Sheriff's Office staffing change, Village of Richfield contract deputy. Is there any background information Sheriff's Department would wish to share?
I think that was taken off the agenda.
Yeah, that's been removed, Mr. Chair.
I'm sorry. I was looking at an old agenda. Thank you.
okay.
Next item then is to adopt the updated Washington County Hazard Mitigation Plan. Is there any background information?
I
we
can
need
provide
there?
that, yes. So the hazard mitigation plan is updated every 5 years. You'll notice that the last one was updated in 2018, so obviously it's been 6 years. The reason for this is that our partner in putting this together, Sewer Pack, had some staffing challenges, so Washington County, Rob Schmid, and Sewer Pack asked for an extension through the state of Wisconsin, which was granted, and that's why it's now 6 years since the previous one. And the other update is that this is the old hazard mitigation plan, and it's about, the new one is about 200 pages smaller.
All right. Reduction in government. I like
Yes.
it. Do we have a motion and a second? We have a motion from Newman, second from Toma. Any further discussion? All in favor of the motion, say aye. Aye. Are there any opposed? That motion carries. Next item then is rescinding the appointment of the Washington County Medical Examiner. Do we have a motion and a second on this item? Motion from Berg. Second from Newman. Is there any background information you'd care to share on this item?
The background on this motion is with the assistance of our county attorney. Since we have transitioned to a county executive government, the county executive is now responsible for making the appointment to medical examiner. So with that being said, the rescinding of the appointment for the Waukesha County medical examiner has to transact itself simply because the appointment was made by the board prior to that. And if I'm speaking out of turn, we do have County Attorney Brad Stern here today. If he might want to correct me, but that is the reason why the motion is before you.
Yeah, I believe this covers the, what you've discussed already covers basically both points on our agenda regarding the rescinding. And as Mr. County Attorney Stern explained in an email, yeah, the county board has turned that responsibility over to the county executive, so no further action would be needed after rescinding the appointment of the Washington County Medical Examiner. Are there any questions from the committee? All in favor of the motion, say aye. Aye. Are there any opposed? That motion carries. And then are there any questions at all regarding the medical examiner appointment, which is the county executive's responsibility? If there are none, we'll move on. Seeing no questions, we are adjourned. Our next meeting date of October 16th. Thank you for your interest and attendance.